Alright. Hello, this is PELVIS. What is today's date? The 4th of December, 2015. Quick video blog about pike press handstand. Shout out to Kaya asking about some tips on pike press handstand. And I have an arm balance workshop in 2 days on Sunday, December 6th. And we'll be going over some of these principles, although the actual handstand is a part 3. It's part of the part 3 curriculum, and this is part 1 on Sunday. It's cumulative, but I know Kaya has some of the fundamentals down, so I'll just go ahead and show. And plus, this is a little, just to show you what will be possible. So, when I've practiced pike press handstand, it's not in any traditional Ashtanga series, which is mostly what I practice, but sometimes I just get the inkling to be creative. And so I've always done it from Prasarita Padottanasana, which is a wide angle, so from Samasthiti open to the side. The first, or A, would be hands down under the elbows, forehead, or top of the head to the mat. Now we're doing a lot of wrist flexions in yoga, and so I like to counterpose sometimes. So sometimes when I do Prasarita Padottanasana A, I'll actually flex the wrists like such. Technically this is extend and this is flex. So I'll flex the wrists like such to give a counterpose, and I press down into the wrists. After A, inhale to come up, and then I plant the hands. I turn my fingers out a little bit, and the heel of the hands are somewhere in front of the toes. So I don't want my hands here to do a pike press. I also don't want them too far out here. Now in preparing for this video, I did a little research on how gymnasts do the pike press handstand, and what I saw throughout were straight arms, fingers were faced forward, and there was this very large extension of the wrist here. This angle here is very steep, and as a gymnast, I'm sure you counter that with a lot of grabbing, so you're strengthening these muscles while you're extending them. There's a lot of grabbing and pulling on like bars and rings and things. So I don't know if there's a tendency for wrist injuries in gymnastics, but in yoga there definitely is, especially in a vinyasa kind of yoga. So for that reason, I bend my elbows to lessen this angle, so I don't straighten my arms when I push up. I keep my elbows bent. Another reason for that is I want my humerus or upper arm bone to stay in the socket. I want it under the acromion process. So I'll name a couple of anatomy terms, and maybe I'll show a picture of the acromion. Basically, the acromion is this lip of the scapula that comes out, and I can't lift my arm any higher. Right there, it hits that bone, and I can go around it, and then I can go farther back. But when I'm around it, I'm out of the socket, and I'm relying on connective tissues and maybe some musculature. So in general, I like my humerus in the socket. So part of the Part 1 Arm Balance series is going to be to activate serratus and teres minor, and that will help to keep elbows in tight, arms bent. I turn my fingers out a little bit. The first preliminary exercise would be just to come to the toes. And so I have a lot of weight in my arms, and I'm sucking my navel in towards my spine. So you should be able to do that for 5 breaths, I think, before attempting the handstand. And always inhaling to come up, exhaling to go down. It's okay to clench the fingers. As I said in my grasshopper video, it's most important to press on the bottom and outside edge of the hand. I'm not so concerned about this part of the hand, so that might come up, and I may clench my fingers a little bit also. So, Prasarita Padottanasana A, inhale, exhale, it is a slight back bend. Handstands are a slight back bend. Maybe I do 5 breaths or 10 or 300, whatever. Exhale as I come down. And then inhale, straighten the back. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale to come up. Is there anything else? I guess I also wanted to say elbows bent, because if the arms are straight, you take out the strength of the arms. You're only using the triceps basically to lock the arms. And the tendency is the shoulders to roll forward, which is going to put strain on your biceps, and it's going to overuse pec minor. And you might not be able to see it with my shirt on, but there's a tendency for the wing blades to pop out, the scapula. And that's going to put a lot of pressure on supraspinatus, which is a muscle of the rotator cuff. The most common injury to the rotator cuff when people say I tore my rotator cuff is supraspinatus. And that's because these muscles around the wing blades are too flexible, and they do things like this that bear weight on their shoulders, which is really just bearing all the weight on supraspinatus. And it's a tiny, tiny muscle, so it's not supposed to bear all the weight. So by bending the elbows and turning the eyelets of the elbows forward, elbows together, that helps clinch the scapula tight to the rib cage, and it's a healthier alignment. So I think that's about all I want to say about it. And Arm Balance Workshop Sunday, December 6th, 1 to 3 p.m. at My Yoga Connection. Thanks, guys. 9th one.